Once upon a time, humor in MMOs was innocent. A well-timed emote, a bad pun in a guild chat, a rogue who accidentally pulled the boss too early and got roasted for months. We laughed together. Then something changed. As the worlds got bigger and the player bases got louder, humor stopped being just the glue that held communities together. It became a weapon, a way to mock, to shame, to control the narrative. Welcome to MMO memes, irony, and weaponized humor. I'm your host, Boss Mode, and today we're taking a trip through the laughing lands of MMO culture, where every punchline has a target and every joke has a body count. Because in MMOs, humor is more than fun, it's power. It can bond guildmates for life, or tear entire servers apart. Think about it. Every MMO you've ever played has its own language, its own in-jokes, catchphrases, and memes that only make sense if you were there when it happened. You can walk into a random Discord and drop Leeroy Jenkins, and half of the people will laugh instantly. The other half will roll their eyes like you just quoted a bad dad joke from 2005. That's the power of memes. Instant recognition, shared memory, a badge of belonging. But in the hands of the troll, it's ammo. Let's roll back to the golden age of MMO comedy. Before toxic positivity, before cancel threads, before people got banned for posting memes in general chat. I'm talking about the era of MUDs, EverQuest, and the early days of World of Warcraft, when humor was raw, unscripted, and usually born from catastrophic failure. In EverQuest, there was a guild called Serial Killers. Their leader, a bard named Mimsy, was known for turning every raid into a stand-up night. Whenever someone died, he played a drum macro and yelled, "That's what happens when you alt-tab for snacks, Brack." It was chaotic, but it kept people together. Even when they wiped, they laughed. That's how a lot of the early MMO communities worked. They shared suffering, plus humor equals loyalty. Lag spikes, DCs, corpse runs. If you could make it funny, you could make it through it. Then came World of Warcraft, and everything changed with one word: Leeroy. If you don't know the story, go Google it. Or better yet, don't. Just ask literally any gamer over 30 and watch the eyes glaze with nostalgia. A raid group meticulously planning a poll, everyone doing math like they're running NASA telemetry, and then one guy screams, "Leeroy Jenkins!" and charges in, ruining everything. The raid wipes, the guild loses their minds, the clip goes viral before viral was a thing. That moment was MMO comedy gold because it captured what we all felt. That one guy who always screws up, the chaos you can't control, the utter stupidity of online coordination, and the fact that we still love it anyway. Leeroy Jenkins did something bigger than make people laugh. He set the template for MMO humor. It was chaos meets camaraderie, and we never looked back. After that, every guild had its own Leeroy. Every raid had its own catchphrase. Suddenly, being funny was as important as being skilled. And sometimes, let's be honest, it was a lot more fun. Before Discord voice channels and Twitch clips, we had guild forums. And let me tell you, those places were war zones of inside jokes. People would make photoshopped guild portraits where they'd stick each other's avatars on movie posters. We had threads like "most creative death of the week" and "the dumbest thing a healer said mid-raid." In Runescape, entire clans would stage naked parades through Lumbridge just to see how many guards they could aggro before they died. And it was funny because nobody was trying to hurt anybody. It was just shared chaos. That's the thing about early MMO humor. It was ironic. It wasn't meta. It was sincere. We were laughing at ourselves, not each other. Nobody was recording clips for views. Nobody was posting memes for likes. We just wanted to be connected, even if it was through shared stupidity. There's a legend in EverQuest 2 community about two guilds, the Order of the Bacon and the Templars of Toast. The rivalry started because one guild accused the other of stealing the raid strategy. So instead of starting a flame war, they started a meme war, spamming guild chat with "breakfast is coming" and "bacon and toast." Players on the server joined in. They made banners, slogans, and in-game signs using the housing system. It was chaos. But it was funny chaos, harmless, creative, and ultimately a community event that brought hundreds of players together. That's what we lost somewhere along the way, that joy of laughing with people instead of at them. That's what memes used to be. Digital campfire stories we could all share. Then the internet grew up, and everything else that grows up online, it got mean. Humor is supposed to be the great equalizer. You know, laugh it off, shake it off, keep rating. But sometime around the mid-2010s, things started to shift. Memes stopped being inside jokes and started becoming inside blades. We stopped laughing with each other and started laughing at each other. And in MMOs, that shift hit harder than a Nerf bat to the face. It started innocently like it always does. A guild in World of Warcraft named Critical Miss had a Discord where they shared memes constantly. Some were goofy, bad parses, silly screenshots, raid fails. But then someone posted a meme about one of their own members, a healer who always forgot to move out of the AoE. The meme showed her character standing in fire with the caption, "She thought stay positive meant stay in the red circle." Funny, maybe, but it snowballed. Soon, every mistake she made became a meme. They gave her a nickname. They made emote macros. They laughed at her. She eventually stopped logging in. That's when it hit me. Memes have weight. What we call guild humor can turn into public shaming in disguise. And in MMOs, where social belonging is the game, that's not a small thing. Somewhere between Leeroy Jenkins and "you're bad, kid," the line between banter and bullying disappeared. People started using humor as armor. And as a weapon. "I'm not being mean," they said. "It's just a joke." Yeah, a joke that leaves someone logging off for good. In Elder Scrolls Online, there was a guild that prided itself on no-filter humor. They called themselves Guild Chat After Dark. Their recruitment ad literally said, "We roast our own." They weren't subtle. If someone missed a dodge roll, they'd get memed instantly. Someone DC'd mid-boss? Screenshot, caption, spam in Discord. Miss a heal? Congratulations, you're the next weekly meme contest winner. They called it camaraderie. I called it the digital version of high school cafeteria hazing. Sure, they were funny, until one of their members quit after a joke about her real-life photo got shared. The guild didn't disband. They just made another meme about people being too sensitive. That's the beauty of irony. It gives cruelty a costume. Say it sarcastically and suddenly it's safe. And look, not all dark humor is bad. MMO players have always been the gallows humor type. We laugh about corpse runs, wipes, and raid disasters because it helps us cope with how ridiculous these games can be. But somewhere we lost balance. We forgot that irony doesn't always cancel impact. That meme can still hurt even if we say LOL after it. In Final Fantasy XIV, there was a free company called We're Totally Chill. They used the trademark symbol in their name, and it became their whole gimmick. Everything they did was drenched in irony. They'd recruit players with messages like, "We don't care about loot, just validation." Their raid calendar labeled mandatory optional fun time. It was hilarious for a while. Then came the burnout. Players joined expecting good vibes, but found themselves stuck in an endless loop of sarcasm. Every time someone expressed frustration, they got memed for being too serious. If you actually cared, you were the punchline. Eventually, the joke ate itself. The guild disbanded. Irony, when used too long, became a mask you can't take off. And MMO players are experts at hiding behind masks. The funny thing, and I mean darkly funny, is that we started using humor to survive toxicity. But then the humor became the toxicity. You could walk into a random MMO forum thread about anything, class balance, storylines, and even patch notes. And within 5 comments, someone would post a meme that turns every valid point into a punchline. We stopped debating, we started dunking. When WoW Classic launched, it was supposed to be nostalgic, pure, a return to form. Instead, it became a meme arms race. Players argued about which versions was better, vanilla or retail. One side posted memes like, "Back in my day, we walked uphill both ways to Molten Core." And the other side fired back with, "Enjoy your 12-hour queue, Grandpa." Whole subreddits devolved into ironic warfare. People weren't trying to make points anymore. They were trying to make punchlines. That's how MMO communities fracture. Not through outrage, but through apathy, wrapped in humor. When everyone's joking, no one is listening. And here's where it gets dangerous. Because in online spaces, once you stop taking things seriously, it's easy to stop taking people seriously too. When every bad take becomes meme bait, when every mistake becomes content, empathy flatlines. You stop seeing guildmates as friends. They're just characters in your comedy. I'll never forget this one. In EVE Online, there was a notorious corporation that loved to prank new players. They'd lure them into dangerous sectors, tell them they were a part of a secret mission, and then blow up their ships for laughs. They'd record the voice chat reactions, edit them with sound effects, and upload the videos as EVE comedy classics. When called out, their leader defended it by saying, "Relax, it's EVE. Everything's a betrayal. We're just making it funny." But when you watch the clips, it's not funny. You hear the real disappointment, real anger, and the real embarrassment. And it's hard to laugh when you realize you're listening to someone's trust being broken in real time. That's what weaponized humor does. It desensitizes us, turns cruelty into content, turns community into currency. And yet, we keep laughing because we're not just players anymore, we're audiences. And the audience doesn't care who gets hurt as long as the meme hits hard. We've become gladiators in an arena of sarcasm, fighting for likes, upvotes, and clout. And somewhere between the punchlines and the pain, the soul of MMO humor got lost. You ever notice how the longer you spend online, the less anything feels real? Like the world's one long patch note you didn't read and you're just vibing through the bugs. That's digital irony, the ultimate MMO debuff. And it's not just humor anymore, it's how we cope, how we defend ourselves from caring too much. See, irony's a shield. Back in the early days, you might log into a game and take things personally. Someone called you a noob, and it stung. Someone ninja looted your items, and you burned with rage. Now, you meme it. You screenshot it. You slap a caption on it like pain is temporary, loot is forever, and then you just move on. Irony became our emotional armor, but like any armor, if you wear it too long, it starts to rust onto you. There's a guy I used to raid with in WoW Classic named Teleman. Funny dude, always cracking jokes. Every wipe he'd drop the sarcastic quip. "Oh good, another opportunity for growth," he'd say as the raid exploded. We loved him for it at first, but after a while you realize he never took anything seriously. Didn't help with stats, didn't show up for progression nights. Every time you tried to call him out, he'd shrug and say, "Relax, bro, it's a game. Don't be weird about it." That's the irony trap. When you pretend not to care long enough, eventually you stop caring for real. And when caring becomes cringe, communities die. That's what digital irony does. It numbs the edges. You stop engaging deeply because you're afraid of being mocked. You stop showing enthusiasm because enthusiasm is embarrassing. You stop being real because the real online feels like walking into a raid without armor. One of my favorite creators on Final Fantasy XIV goes by Kuro the Catboy, once said in an interview, "I've been ironic for so long I forgot how to be genuine." He was half joking, but also not. He talked about how every reaction he had, joy, frustration, sadness, he immediately translated into a meme language before expressing it. Instead of saying, "I'm proud of my team," he'd post a gif of someone crying into pizza. Instead of saying he was burned out, he'd just tweet, "Current mood, crafting my own grave." That's meme culture in a nutshell. Sincere emotion run through a filter of absurdity. We hide the real behind the ridiculous. And MMOs with their constant chaos are the perfect breeding ground for it. Because here's the thing, MMOs are absurd. They're giant digital worlds where we pretend to be heroes while arguing about loot distribution. They're serious and silly all at once. So, we built a culture around irony to match that tone, and somewhere along the way, that culture stopped being just a joke and started shaping into who we are. In 2020, when lockdowns hit, everyone flooded back into MMOs. Guild chats were packed, discords were chaos, and humor became the way we processed everything. We weren't making memes about social distancing in Elder Scrolls Online dungeons. Stay 6 meters apart or get debuffed. World of Warcraft players renamed their mounts to things like My Therapist and Quarantine Horse. We were laughing to stay sane, and for a while it worked. But that error also showed us how fast humor can turn into hostility. When people are stressed, irony gets sharp. Memes became coping mechanisms, and coping turned into competition. Who could make the edgiest joke? Who could meme the fastest? Who could win the internet that day? We stopped talking. We started to perform. Humor used to be a handshake. Now it's a dominance display. You don't post memes to connect anymore. You post them to assert status. To say, "I get it, you don't." That's the new social hierarchy of online gaming. Whoever controls the joke controls the room. But here's the plot twist. The same thing that broke MMO culture might just be the thing that saves it. Because for every toxic meme war, every sarcastic guild meltdown, there's a community using humor the right way, as medicine, not ammo. There's a guild in Elder Scrolls Online called Laugh Until Respawn. Their entire mission statement, we take this game seriously, but not ourselves. They post a meme of the week every Sunday. But here's the twist. It can't target another player. It has to be self-deprecating. If someone posts a meme about rage quitting during a trial, it's about their rage, not someone else's. They call it laughing forward. And you know what? Their retention rate is through the roof because every humor that lifts people up keeps people logging in. It reminds us that we're all ridiculous in our own ways, and that's okay. Then there's Valerian, a WoW streamer who went viral after a rage clip. Someone posted his freakout on Reddit. Streamer loses it over plus 20 keystone wipe. The clip blew up. For weeks, people spammed his name in chats mocking him. So he did the smartest thing possible. He leaned in. He edited the clip himself, added dramatic music, and re-uploaded it as streamer performs live art piece on human suffering. He started narrating his own meltdowns like a Shakespearean tragedy. He owned the meme, and in doing so, he took the power back. Now he's known as the therapist of tilt, helping people handle rage in MMOs with humor instead of toxicity. That's the thing about jokes. If you can laugh at yourself, no one can use them against you. I've seen entire communities rebuild through humor. Guilds that used to be toxic now run meme nights as therapy. Players who used to troll now mod Discord servers with a sense of irony and empathy. It's not perfect, it never will be, but it's progress. Because, as it turns out, the opposite of toxicity isn't politeness, it's laughter that heals instead of harms. So, what have we learned, my fellow internet degenerates? That humor is the heartbeat of online gaming. It's the way we bond, cope, and survive the madness of digital life. But when laughter turns into ammunition, when sarcasm becomes cruelty, that heartbeat starts to sound a lot like a death rattle. MMOs will always be chaotic. They'll always be filled with weird personalities, absurd situations, and moments so ridiculous you can't help but laugh. But that laughter, that's our link, our respawn. A reminder that under the armor and the avatars, we're all still human, messy, funny, imperfect, and trying to connect. So next time someone memes you in trade chat, take a breath. Ask yourself, are they punching down or just trying to laugh through the lag? Because somewhere between sarcasm and sincerity, there's still room for joy. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real end game. I'm Boss Mode, and this has been MMO Madness Behind the Troll Mask. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Subscribe now to MMO Madness Behind the Troll Mask, sponsored by Boss Mode Fashion, because even if your DPS is trash, your outfit doesn't have to be. Find your next respawn-ready outfit at bossmodefashion.com.
Got a grief story or redemption arc worth sharing? Email me at podcast@mmomadness.com. Your tale might make it to a future episode. And until next time, laugh, respawn, repeat. And hey, don't forget to like, share, and support our efforts here on the podcast. This is Boss Mode out.